All right, we are recording to the cloud. I'm excited to be with you tonight on this live webinar. It's a beautiful, snowy, snow-covered day here in Utah. It seems like everywhere is covered with snow recently. I drove down to Arizona last week, and it was just snow on the way, and then I got there, and Phoenix, Arizona looked like Seattle, Washington. It was rainy and drizzly and overcast. So that's just what we're getting this winter. My name is Seth Mulder. I'm excited to be with you tonight on this live webinar. We've got about 30 minutes to cover some really exciting information, stuff that I believe in. I was actually in St. George, Utah, passing through, met with an old friend I hadn't seen for probably about 7 years. He's a cancer survivor. He is also a war veteran, Korean Vietnam. I need to get back to that. He is a war veteran and great man, family man. And I shared some of the information with him that I'm going to be sharing with you tonight. And what a treat! What an amazing experience it is to see somebody who's inspired to action. He's somebody that cares a lot about his own personal health, having been a cancer survivor, as you can imagine. He cares about, I listened to him literally talk about, we spent time chit-chatting, honestly, at the beginning, talking about his family, talking about his daughter, talking about his son, talking about their financial opportunities or their financial struggles and the opportunities in their lives, talking about health. And all of that is germane to the conversation that we're going to be having tonight. But I will tell you this. After we met and talked about some of this information that we'll be speaking about tonight on this webinar, he was motivated to action. And that's my purpose here tonight. Obviously, I want to educate, I want to teach, I want to share with you tonight. But my purpose is to make things happen. Literally to inspire change tonight, today, in your life, that you will actually do something with the information that you're receiving. And I've got a bunch of slides to show you tonight. I'm not going to be able to show all of them. And wow, this is super exciting, just scrolling through, seeing how many people are joining us on the line tonight. Awesome. What we're going to talk about a couple of things tonight. First through, just to prep you, we're going to be talking about breakthrough, scientific breakthroughs. Okay, this is like nothing you've ever seen before. In a new and emerging field in healthcare called nutrigenomics. Nutra meaning naturally occurring compounds, genomics referring to the human genes, right? How our genes work, and specifically how genes express themselves or how genes do what they do, okay? So kind of prep you for that. Hopefully, before coming here tonight, I'm hoping that you've seen some information. If you haven't, you have a little bit of extra homework. That would have been an ABC investigative news report that was on ABC primetime television about 10 years ago, 12 years ago actually, as they got wind and were perhaps somewhat doubtful. And so they brought the investigative cameras into the University of Colorado in Denver to look at what I affectionately just call the pill. Sometimes we call it the little yellow pill, but I just like to call it the pill. I had to be careful. I was actually at my grandfather's, my wife's grandfather's house recently, and I started talking about the pill, and he didn't think he thought I was talking about some other sort of pill. So you always have to put that in context. But the discovery that they made at the University of Colorado in Denver was this: that a new sort of supplement, which they thought at the time, we know more today, and I'll share that. We are not talking about supplementation, but what they called a new supplement, a new pill made of natural ingredients, could actually turn on the body's own mechanisms, its own defense systems. And the results measured by blood before and after were such that it was considered a scientific breakthrough. I hope you saw that video. I hope you saw basically three things. Number one, that the newscaster himself, as he went through the pre-blood test, then got on the pill for 2 weeks, and then took the post-blood test, experienced a 45% reduction or decrease in oxidative stress, cell damage. Okay, 2 weeks unheard of, astounding breakthrough. The second thing I hope you noticed that they mentioned in that newscast was it worked for every single person in every single age category, even an 80-year-old. And the third thing that I hope that you saw on that video, if you saw the version that has a scientific update after the newscast, would have been this: that after taking Protandim, or as I affectionately again just call it the pill, they could not distinguish the blood of an 80-year-old from a 20-year-old. Now, if all of those things are as is, they're real, it's the real deal, that would be pretty significant in science. I hope you've seen that video. If you've not, you've got some catch up to do. But I'll be building on that story today. That was 12 years ago. That was before a marketing push. That was before a ton of research conducted around the world, even by the U.S. national government, the National Institute of Health, and multiple studies. I'll be filling you in on some of that today. But that video is excellent foundation, and excellent perhaps follow-up to today's webinar. Let me move forward. I want to talk. We talked about genomics. I'm gonna make a statement, and I think you'll agree that we're going to see some major changes, health technology changes in the next 20 years. And most of that is going to be surrounding our ability to understand the power and the program in the human gene. So researchers have been doing this for the last handful of years, looking to, we map the human genome, understanding what certain genes do. We know there are about 25,000 genes in the DNA, and they're responsible for who we are and how we feel, right? Well, there's a new field called gene expression, where they're trying to understand how these genes are turned on. And what scientists have understood over the last just less than probably 10 years, there are over 7,000 studies at the United States National Library of Medicine at PubMed.gov, talking about a new, well, I shouldn't say new, but talking about a protein that they're newly understanding called NRF2. Let me just tell you really briefly, without going into a massive scientific lecture, because although the message that we're talking about, the science here is deep and significant, in order to spread the message, we're going to increasingly need to share it more simply. Okay, does that make sense? We're going to go into some details today, and the reason is this. I'm not looking for the masses yet. The masses aren't ready for gene therapy or gene expression. It can't go there yet. Before the masses can come to something, early adopters have to embrace a message. And so I'm talking to you tonight as if you are early adopters, people who are bilingual, people who see innovation, that's a specific language, okay, and who also run with the masses. They understand what's going on in the mass market. If you're in between the innovators and the masses of people, you can be an early adopter. You're bilingual. You can understand some of the tech, some of the science. Again, we don't need to be scientists ourselves. I'm not, don't want to be, because I want to run with the message. I don't want to sit with my head in books in a library. I've done that, on a doctorate path, and it ended up not being for me because I liked people. I liked getting things done, not writing paragraphs, taking weeks to write a paragraph in some dark hole in a library. So I'm speaking tonight to early adopters. Now, the significant opportunity here is that if you're an early adopter in something that goes big or something significant, you can absolutely financially change your life as well. So back to NRF2. NRF2, what you need to know. NRF2 is a protein in every single cell in the human body. Every cell, every tissue, every organ, every system. Some tissues more than others, but in every single cell. It's even more highly concentrated in tissues that have to do with with protection and detoxification, interestingly enough. But NRF2, protein in your cells, every single cell, 52 trillion of them, okay? NRF2 is a controller or regulator of detoxification, anti-inflammatory, and other cell protective mechanisms. Here's what scientists at the University of Washington said less than 2 years ago. NRF2 may well become the most extraordinary therapeutic and most extraordinary preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. I just want to place, I want to put this in context, guys. These are scientists who have reviewed thousands of scientific studies and articles on NRF2. Their conclusion is this: understanding the significance, the breadth, the depth, the meaning, the power of NRF2 as a master protein in the body and its ability to turn on human genes, they are saying this may be, and not just it may be, it may well become, that's almost exclamation point, the most extraordinary therapeutic. Now, what does therapeutic mean? Therapeutic means therapy, right? When do you use therapy? After you're broken, right? Therapy is about fixing broken stuff. And most extraordinary preventative. Now, what is preventative? That's all about getting to the problem, stopping the problem before it manifests as a problem. So never breaking, preventative, and fixing the break, therapeutic or therapy, in the history of medicine. Now, guys, I just want to put this in context. What could be bigger in healthcare than preventative and therapy? I mean, is there anything bigger than therapy and preventative combined? No, there isn't. It is the A to Z. It is the alpha to the omega. It is the beginning to the end. That's pretty significant. Here's another study. Let me erase that and move on. NRF2, this is from the National Library of Medicine. NRF2, guardian of health span and gatekeeper of species longevity. I spoke with a cardiologist friend of mine for years. This was the most important study he would share with people when we have the discussion you and I are having, and that is when he was speaking with healthcare practitioners. Okay, if you want to understand NRF2, you've got to understand that it's the guardian of health span. It keeps you healthy, and it is the gatekeeper of species longevity. So it's not just, it's the quality of life, which I think most of us are interested in. But if we could have quality of life, what would we think about extending that life for a day? I can tell you this: if I come to the end of my life and I get a choice to spend just one more day, there's a great country song, okay? Diamond Rio, actually. But if I could have the chance to spend one more full quality day with the people that I love, with my wife or my children or my grandchildren, those close around me, in a day of teaching, a day of play, a day of service, would you take that day, or would you say, nope, I'm done, don't want any more of it? Okay. I often, when we talk about living longer, people are like, I don't want to live longer. You know why you don't want to live longer? Because you're sick. You're sick, you don't feel good, and you don't have money to go do the things that you want to do, and you don't have the confidence to go do those. Well, what if you were emotionally healthy? What if you were financially strong? And what if you were physically able? Then would you not, if you had the choice, take an extra year? What more could you do with an extra year? How could you change your family's life? What legacy could you lead? I usually don't talk about this. In fact, those of you who are listening who may have heard me speak before know that I've actually never spoken about this before. It was an idea that literally came to me in the last 48 hours. Listen, I would take that day. I'd take 10 of those days. I'd take 25 of those days. I'd take a year. I'd take 5 years if it meant that I could do something about it. Okay. NRF2, gatekeeper of species longevity, guardian of health span. Okay, that's what we're talking about tonight, guys. We are not talking about supplementation. This is not supplementation. This is activation. Congratulations, you're actually watching a technological shift. Literally, roughly a 50 or 60-year shift in healthcare technologies when it comes to taking stuff or pills, right? A shift from supplementation to activation. And this is actually gene activation. So let me tell you a little about something I'm passionate about. I want to cover this super quickly. But this is something called the law of the diffusion of innovation, okay? Everything starts small, right? Every great thing, every great idea, every great company, every great product, every great movement, philosophy, whatever, it all starts small. I'm just going to map this out. I'm going to try to cover this whole slide in 30 seconds. Good luck, I know, but I'm going to. We'll call it the law. It's called, again, the law of diffusion of innovation. Looks something like this, standard bell curve, right? 2.5% of the population, 2.5, are considered the innovators. That's this guy right here, okay? They develop something. They have the idea, or a series of people have the idea. They develop the technology, whether it's tech, whether it's high tech, whether it's, medical tech, whatever. They're the people who are highly involved in the formulation and the initial distribution, okay? Then we move on to that 13.5%, 13.5, and these people are called early adopters, okay? I already referred to them. They're the bilingual people. They understand, they can get the tech stuff. They don't have to be techies. They don't have to have the background, but it makes sense. Either what the tech is saying, what the science is saying, what the research is saying, or frankly, what the stuff is doing. You know, what the iPhone does, what the Android does, what the MP3 does. They get it, okay? And they want to be early adopters. They want to participate early. They're willing to take the product when it's new. They're willing to take those ideas and be pioneers. And what those early adopters do is they share that with the 34% of the early majority. Now we're into the masses of people. We go on to the late majority, okay, 34%. And at the end, there's 16% who are laggards, slowpokes, okay? These are people who get smartphones only because they can no longer continue to buy their third or fourth or fifth flip phone on eBay because they're not available anymore, that kind of a thing, okay? So here's what you need to realize. If we talk about supplementation, where are we in the marketplace? Are we still at the innovator stage in supplementation? No. We're past innovators. We're past early adopters. We're past the early majority. We're somewhere in the late majority or laggards when it comes to supplementation, right? I've been involved in network marketing for years. I got involved in companies that were young, but that were also late to the game. They were coming in here when it comes to the marketplace because supplementation isn't new. Now, if you're late to the game, what do you need to do? You need to have a shiny supplement or a shiny product, a shiny widget that is different or better or or more or less expensive or premium or whatever. You have to differentiate your product because there's so much noise in that marketplace, right? Well, if we talk about gene activation, what's your best guess? Where are we on this law of diffusion of innovation? Another way to put it, where are we on the spreading of the word and the adopting of the products, okay, the marketplace, when it comes to gene activation? Well, I can tell you, we haven't hit the masses yet, have we? We're somewhere probably in here, maybe somewhere still in the innovator stage versus the early adopter stage, okay? We may not even be to early adopters. That's where you're listening to this information. You are in front of a wave. I don't think there's any denying that understanding the human gene and doing something about it and having products that do something about it are the wave of the future. Obviously, the science I just showed you already shows and is pointing to that. It's just that it's not to the marketplace. Literally, if you're listening to this today or listening to the recording, you are one of just a few people who's listening to this information, who's ever heard anything about gene expression and DNA expression or NRF2. So it looks like this. You're alone. You start to talk to a few people. Now, out of all the people you know, this might be who follows you and goes with you. And by the way, in these early stages, that's enough. You don't need the masses of people because these other early adopters or innovators that you find, in turn, bring a few early adopters and innovators with them. And they bring a few. And this starts to look like a lot. You know, this looks like a lot on the screen, but it's not. But this is how movements are created. And then when you get to maybe 15 or 16 or 18% of the population, then we can go through that massive growth curve where something explodes into the general marketplace. What I want to drive home for the first 20 minutes of this webinar today is that you're listening to something first. You're looking at research that essentially less than 3% of the population, no question about it, has ever heard of or even contemplated. You're listening to it first, and you have an opportunity to be part of that innovation and early adoption in a brand new wave of the marketplace and of healthcare for the next foreseeable future, decades upon decades. Again, keep in mind, supplementation is an old market, and it's been going on for 60 plus years. We're in the new market. It's not supplementation, but it's activation. I'm going to skip over a bunch of science, but free radical oxidative stress is at the crux of this message, okay? It's cell damage. It affects every single tissue, every single cell, tissue, organ, system in the body. If we just looked at the brain, oxidative stress, when it's not controlled in the body, and by the way, your ability to control oxidative stress beyond the age of 18 to 20 diminishes significantly every year, okay? Just in the brain, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, MS, ALS, OCD, ADHD, autism, migraine, insomnia, depression, dementia, bipolar disorder, cancer, et cetera, et cetera. So we're talking about something pretty significant. Oxidative stress is one of the top 3 issues in all of healthcare, okay? Because it leads to all of these issues. Why? Why is supplementation old? Or why does the science work for gene activation? Really simple science. Here's the deal. In supplementation, we're talking about vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, okay? One antioxidant can only neutralize one free radical, period, end of story. It's 1-to-1. You have so many free radicals, you can't consume enough antioxidants and get them to the free radicals to really make a difference in the damage, oxidative stress, happening in the human body. However, one molecule produced by one gene. So a molecule of an enzyme produced by a gene that's designed to protect you, one of those can neutralize up to 1 million free radicals in 1 second, and it can do that every second. So how do you get more of those 1 to 1 million molecules? You need gene activators. NRF2 is that gene activator. By the way, when we started this project 12 years ago, again, before it's in the marketplace, we thought that it caused the body to make 3 molecules, okay? Later, that was expanded to 12 to 20. Later, the science showed us that NRF2 activates over 200 genes. The latest research that I read less than 7 days ago indicates that NRF2, the protein in your body, activates over 500 genes in the body. I'm going to make a bold statement. I know there's Obamacare and there's, there's all kinds of healthcare plans and programs and premiums and healthcare options. I believe that perhaps the single most important healthcare decision that you can make in the next 20 years is whether you're going to be on the 1-to-1 plan or the 1-to-1 million plan. Again, the most important healthcare decision that you will make in the next 20 years, whether you want to be on the 1-to-1 plan or the 1-to-1 million plan. The only way to get on the 1-to-1 million plan is to get something that can activate your own genes, NRF2. So Protandim is a gene activator. It's just 5 natural ingredients. We've patented it, 12 patents, 6 in the US, 6 outside the US. It's been supported by a ton of research by all the big names across the world, literally from Italy to the United Kingdom to other parts of Europe to Canada to Mexico to, of course, here in North America. Vanderbilt, Ohio State, Virginia Commonwealth, Colorado, Michigan, Florida, the United States government, Department of Defense. I mean, this is the single biggest discovery in healthcare that essentially nobody knows about it. Somebody asked me recently, why doesn't anybody know about it? Because of the law, Rogers' law of the diffusion of innovation. I don't care how big something is, it doesn't just explode overnight. And frankly, it doesn't go from one innovator to the masses. You must go from innovator to innovator to innovator, and then bring on that critical group of early adopters before you ever reach the masses. We're in that formulation stage right now, that innovation/early adopter stage. Protandim is wonderful. It's amazing. I take it every single day. I can't say any more about it today. Otherwise, we could talk for 3 hours. Needless to say, I hope I've shared some information about product and science that you've never seen before. Certainly, you've never seen it in the world of nutrition, even pharmaceuticals. This is brand new, breaking stuff but is supported by thousands and literally tens of thousands of studies at the U.S. National Library of Medicine. NRF2 isn't the only path in the body, by the way. I'm not going to go into this, but there's another path recently discovered with additional research coming out. It's called NRF1. Turns on different parts of the human cell, okay? The mitochondria specifically. There's a tease right there. We've then gone into skincare and into new supplementation for the brain, energy, mood energy, a multidimensional energy product, veterinary science, weight management. In fact, we're doing a weight management contest right now for the next 90 days till the end of March. $50,000 plus in cash and prizes, $25,000 for the top male, $25,000 for the top female. The pictures you're seeing here were a 6-week program done last year. So these guys aren't in the running right now, okay? You got a fresh slate. Get back with the distributor or the professional who invited you on tonight's call and find out more about that, okay? That's exciting stuff. Let me tell you a little about the company and the opportunity. LifeVantage is a publicly traded company. Our roots are in biotech, okay, and science. We're traded on NASDAQ right now. The stock is trading less than $10 a share. It's about $7 a share. Okay, Forbes recently recognized LifeVantage as one of the top performing, not one of the biggest, but one of the top performing companies in the United States. Number 5, by the way. Let me talk about money. Now, we've talked a lot about science and a breakthrough and product, okay? That's an absolute piece of it. We've talked about timing. That's a massive piece of it. I don't want to come to a business where it's late, okay? I'm not interested, frankly, in buying. I have my favorite restaurants, okay? I'm thinking about a restaurant, a corporately owned, not a national chain, not a franchise, but a very successful local restaurant. They do Tex-Mex, okay? Here in Utah, I've known about them for years and years and years and years. And I remember when they started, they were so good that I wanted to start with them, right? I said, I want to open up a restaurant. They said, no, not an option, okay? We don't do franchises. But here's the deal. I'm not really interested in owning that restaurant today. They're a successful chain, okay? You know, I don't know how many they have, 20, 30, 40, 50 restaurants in the Midwest here in the Rocky Mountains. But I'm not interested in that. And here's why. It might be a cash flow instrument, but it's going to be expensive. And I missed the timing story, probably. They're probably not going to triple or quadruple or 10 times their locations in the next 3 to 5 years. They'll probably grow, but that massive explosive growth is probably done, okay? I would have been interested in it 15 years ago when I first saw them, or 17 years ago. Does that make sense? Timing is critical. We've talked about timing tonight from the perspective of, listen, you're looking at genetic expression, at the innovation and no question early adoption phase. Let's talk about what that means economically, okay? There are 3 ways to make money in life. Wheel number 1, you get a job. You run in the wheel for your boss or for the company. You make what you make every month. You know, it's a way to make a living, but it's probably not a way to be free. Usually I spend more time on this and talk about what it feels like. You know what it feels like. Wheel number 2, people say, I want the American dream. I'm going to own my own business. They get in that wheel and they've got to run twice as fast because you have to in order to keep a business running. Most of those small business owners work more than they did when they were employees. Hopefully they make more money, but they probably have less time to spend it. And what's the exit strategy, right? You sell your business, what do you have? Maybe you have some cash, but you don't have anything doing anything for you. It's not really a retirement strategy. Case in point, kind of from a different perspective, I've got a dear friend, played basketball together in high school. 20 years later, he has worked for the family business, okay? His father started the business. He's worked hard. He's that sweaty guy in the middle of this wheel for 21, 22 years, okay? Actually, probably go more on like 23 or 24 years. He has sacrificed everything. Times changed. His father got sick, had to sell the business. The son couldn't buy the business. It was sold to somebody else. They came in, and now that friend is an employee for the quote-unquote family business. So being that small business owner has plenty of risk involved. Wheel number 3, don't get inside the wheel. Find opportunities where you can actually create or build an engine, and the engine turns the wheel for you. In other words, if you could build an engine, turn it on, it turns the wheel, it would create cash flow. It would be an income producing asset, okay? If you're listening to this tonight, the question isn't, when do I start, how do I start, or how do I leave wheel number 2 or 1 or 2 and get into wheel number 3? That isn't the question. The question is, how do I start wheel number 3 tonight, at the same time continuing to do wheel number 1 and wheel number 2? I'm a big advocate of not changing everything, not stopping what you're doing, just adding something smarter to the table. Later, you can decide what you want to do with wheel number 1 or wheel number 2 after you get wheel number 3 moving. But the key isn't really wheel number 1, wheel number 2 tonight. The key is, how fast can I start wheel number 3? That, by the way, is network marketing. Network marketing is that wheel. The engine, it's an engine in an army of distributors and customers who build businesses by themselves, not because of you, and who take product because it delivers benefits, not because of you. Now, if you can combine network marketing with the timing story I told you tonight about the diffusion of genetic information or genetic products over the next 5, 10, 20, 30, 50 years, you can see that there's a massive opportunity there. I love network marketing. I've been doing it for 15 years. I did 10 years. Let me skip back. I did 10 years in that wheel number 1. I ran some successful businesses in wheel number 2. But when I was 26, I had a friend call me about wheel number 3. And after initially trying to run from it, okay, and say, I don't understand, I don't want to have anything to do with it, I took it for what it was. It's a way to build cash flow. It's a business, right? But it's a business that can run without me. That's the key. A business that can run without me. It is a system that doesn't need me all the time. Now, in order to build it, I got to be there, right? After it's built, I don't have to build it every day. It has propulsion on its own. So at 26, I got involved in network marketing, and I've never ever looked back. I don't do wheel number 1 anymore. I don't do wheel 2. I live because of wheel number 3. So network marketing, I love this quote. Network marketing profession pays out approximately $200 million in commissions to distributors every single day of the year. Maybe it's time you took a closer look. Network marketing industry is one of the largest billion-dollar grossing industries worldwide. It dwarfs major industries like the NFL, music, organic products, movie industry, video games, etc. Let me move on as we wrap up, okay? If you liked what you've heard tonight, if you remember, I go back to where I started. Where I started tonight was with this. I hope what I shared tonight with you compels you to action, inspires you to some change today. Perhaps the most important question is, how fast can I start wheel number 3? That is the right question. If you don't want to start wheel 3, by the way, but you want to get on these products, you want to do something for your health, if you knew what I knew about the science, you would get on Protandem and you would never get off of it. You would tell everybody that you know about this. It just makes sense, okay? But from a business standpoint, beyond being only a customer, okay? If you want to be a customer, you can actually go to the website of the individual who invited you to tonight's call. They have a personalized website, and you can fill up the shopping cart. They can actually even text you the pre-filled shopping cart with whatever you want, and all you have to do is check out. We're a high-tech e-commerce company, okay? But I want to speak beyond that. We already know that these products, that health options, health solutions, attract people. And that gets my business mind excited. So if you were coming to me, if you're my grandpa, whom I'm talking about the business, he's in his 80s, okay? Or you're one of my best friends and saying, what do I need to do, to get involved and to be successful? How do I start this business? Here's what I would say. If you want to start this business successfully, you need to enroll as a distributor and buy a package of products. I'm going to make one recommendation, the Platinum Pack. It's the biggest savings. It's actually a 30% savings off of the tag, okay? There's all the product in there that you need to know, touch, feel for yourself personally, as well as to share and distribute, okay? We'll show you the plan for how to put that product out into the marketplace, okay? It also contains 2 all-access event tickets to our next major training and leadership development event, which is in Salt Lake City in April of this year. 2 of those tickets are already included, okay? And 2 months of a membership on one of our high-tech applications, or an app for your iPhone or Android that actually helps you follow up and build your business, okay? So that's the Platinum Pack. That's how I'd recommend you get involved. It's $1,250, okay? All things in. Now, here's the LifeVantage earnings claim statement. What this shows is what people actually make, okay? I want you to take a screenshot of this, guys, okay? This is what people actually make here. Not everybody does this. In fact, most people don't do this. We do. If you want to make $500 a month, then you know that that's going to be associated with something what we'd call the rank of Pro 3, okay? If you want to make $1,000 a month, then you need to be a Pro 4. If you want to make $2,100 a month, then we need to get your eyes set on Pro 5. These are the actual average incomes at just about every single level of success in the company. They're actually 2 levels higher than this. They don't have average incomes because we haven't put anybody there yet. They were just recently announced, and so so we're running to fill and to attain those ranks. But I love this page because it shows what people can actually expect. It gives you some expectations. Okay. I'm not going to go through all the bonuses. There are 6 bonuses. 3 of the bonuses would be considered on the front end, meaning that's stuff that you can earn today or this week, okay? The other 3 bonuses would be what I call residual or back-end bonuses. That's the long-term wheel that's turning. It's royalty income that comes into you. It's mailbox money, right? And we kind of already talked about at least the numbers there because I've shown you in this earnings claim statement. I'm not going to go through all of the why, the hows of this compensation plan tonight, but and I'm going to wrap up here in about 90 seconds. But I am going to give you just a quick look at some of these bonuses, okay? Number 1, retail profit. Listen, if somebody goes to your website and doesn't want to place a monthly order and get the wholesale pricing, they can buy it retail, and the company's going to send you a check for that retail profit, okay? Happens immediately. Number 2, Smart Start bonus, okay? This is a bonus where you're going to be paid every time you introduce somebody new and they make a purchase, okay? So if you introduce 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people and they buy product, whether that's $10 or $40 or $1,000 a product, you're going to make 40% of that. Let me just put that in perspective. Might look like this. You introduce 5 people, and one of them buys $50 a product. One of them buys $100 a product. These are all customers, right? One of them another buys 100, and another buys 250, and another buys 40. Well, you take 40% of all that, and that's $216. Company sends you a check. This is calculated weekly. If you needed to earn $200 this week, you did some presentations, people became customers, and you made 40%. Okay. Now, moving on, what if those people became distributors and bought those business packs that I talked about? I'm only going to talk about the Platinum Pack here, but if you had 3 friends that bought that Platinum Pack right here in the upper left-hand corner, okay, you're going to make $400 because of the product in that Platinum Pack. You'll be paid $400 for every single one of those Platinum Packs that you personally enroll. So in this diagram, if you enrolled 3 Platinum Packs this week, you'd make $1,200, right? If you did that this month, you'd make $1,200. If you did that over the next 3 months, 1 each 3 months, you'd make $1,200. It's just when you do that work, when that action or that enrollment and that product purchase happens, you get paid. Does that make sense? So that's as far as I'm going to go into compensation tonight about specifics. I will cover this, and I left that mark on there, but we'll just move on. There are residual bonuses, 3 residual bonuses, and these bonuses they incentivize us to do a few things. Number 1, build a massive group of customers and distributors. Number 2, help people become leaders and get matching bonus checks on whatever they make. And number 3, help everybody. Get yourself to become a significant leader in this company and help everybody, and you'll be paid on every product sold in the entire company. So not just on your own work, okay? Those are the 3 back-end residual bonuses. Let me close with this. We're running some promotions right now. I'm going to skip this. Let me do 3 slides and then we're done. A system. It's critical to have a system if you want to be successful. It's ridiculous just to assume that you're going to sign up, do nothing, and make money, right? It's ridiculous to think that you're going to sign up, do very little, and make a ton of money. It isn't unreasonable to assume that you can find a different way of doing things. For example, you may have spent your whole life on wheel number 1 and wheel number 2, working for the wheel, for somebody else or for your own small business. And a new concept, residual income, economic engine, right? A cash flowing asset may have come to you tonight, or the courage maybe to do something about it. Now, this is a profession. Now, you can do this profession part-time. Again, I said at the beginning of this, in the middle of this presentation, don't stop wheel number 1, wheel number 2. Just ask yourself, how fast can I start wheel number 3? Okay, just add wheel number 3 to your life. We're going to teach you how to do that. We've got 4 key principles. One of those is a blueprint. We're going to teach you 7 skills. Number 2, we're going to give you events that you can plug into to train yourself and to inspire and train other people that you bring to your team. We're going to teach you 7 core habits, and then we're going to give you opportunities to personally grow and develop yourself as a leader. If you did those 4 things, you'd be rock star successful in this business. Success. Let me take this all down to something very easy, okay? I've shared a bunch of information with you tonight because I wanted to raise one thing, belief. I wanted to raise belief in what we're doing in the field of genetics and epigenetics, genomics, okay? I wanted to raise belief in the timing of this story and the belief that you're literally first in a worldwide movement called the future of healthcare, okay? You are an innovator or an early adopter. Okay, I shared some information specifically about products and science and even money and compensation. We covered the 3-wheel economic model. I want to make it really simple though. Okay, that was all for your education and for your belief. How do you grow this thing? It really is as simple as 1, 2, 3. You connect with people that you know. You share a tool with them, some information with them, a YouTube video, a link. Okay, introduce them to a friend and do a Zoom call. Okay, you introduce a tool to them and then you invite them to an event. By the way, tonight this is an event. Okay, tomorrow night there'll be another event. You can do a live event with your mentor. Okay, you can create events, but this is how movements happen. By the way, and in fact, I listened to a very well-known speaker, literally recently. This is what he said. How did I become a household name, or how did people start buying my books? Literally, it happened like this. I came up with an idea. The idea affected my life. It changed my life. I shared it with friends. They started changing their lives. They called me and said, would you come over to my house? I'm inviting some friends over. I want you to tell them about it. Okay. He came over. He shared the ideas. Those people in turn said, great, can you come to my house? And he was bouncing all over New York City, doing meetings for people totally organically. That, by the way, is networking. That is a movement in progress. So literally, you can build your business. How easy can you build, or how simple, how fast can you start building wheel number 3 income? Connect with some friends tonight. Share with them that ABC News story and connect them to a webinar tomorrow. That's easy. It literally is a 1, 2, 3, connect, share a tool, get them to an event process. An event can be live, it can be in a coffee shop, it can be online, it can be on a call. There's a ton of ways to make that happen. There are no excuses, okay? And it is as simple as you want to make it and as fast as you want to make it. We already talked about timing. Let's close. What's next? I hope I've motivated you to do something. At the very least, I hope you'll call the friend who invited you to tonight's webinar and say, I need to get on that product, okay? It's that good. Again, if you knew what I knew, you wouldn't hesitate. You'd take it for the rest of your life and you'd tell everybody in your family to do so. That is what I believe is coming. If you see the business, answer the 2 or 3 questions you need to get answered and start and prepare for meetings and webinars later this week. With that, I want to thank you. I'm going to hit the stop record button.